Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast, and today we're going to look at a pair of wide-angle lenses. And since they're old school lenses from a Brazilian years ago, they're radioactive. Let's wait for that to get a warning. This is the FUJINON that I have this on. That doesn't seem that radioactive. Let's look at this one. Oh, that's really super radioactive. Yep, that's radioactive. Let's let that cool off over there. This is the Canon Lens FD 17mm 1:4 SSC. Canon lens made in Japan. Stops on the F22. Focuses down to less than 0.25 meters. I think that one's radioactive too. Let's see if it'll clear up. This is the FUJINON, isn't it? FUJINON. ECB FUJINON SW 1:3.5 19mm. Fujifilm Co. Lens Dash Japan. This is a screw mount. This is an FD mount. What does it focus down to? This only goes down to 1 foot or 0.3 meters. So this one focuses just a little bit closer, I like this, it's multicolored, and the depth of field scale matches the colors. And it's green and white. This one is orange and white. As you can see, they're almost the same length. This one's a little bit bigger in diameter. This one definitely weighs more than this one. FUJINON is a little bit lighter. Okay, make sure it's lined up. Oh, it stopped. Okay. Put that on. Gotta do that. I want to see if this one's radioactive. Let's do this again. Yep, that's damn radioactive. Oh, let's take this off again. When you buy a lens and it's radioactive, usually no one cleans them out or blasts them with ultraviolet light. And you get a lens and you look through it like this and it looks freaking yellow. This one I juiced up with ultraviolet light for a couple of days and it's nice and clear. When I got this one, well, it was clear already. So I was reading that when the lens turns yellow, it's contaminated with thorium salts. Now, they could put thorium in, and the thorium itself doesn't turn the lens yellow. It's the salts, which are some sort of contamination. So I don't know if that's true or not. There's a whole bunch of hullabaloo about it. So I'm just passing that on for what it's worth. So let's put this on. So I went to the 48th Annual Motorama Car Show in North Haldon, New Jersey, which is at the high school. Wow, it was really great. It's a little hazy in the morning, but the sun did come out, and it was really hot. Even though I was wearing a hat, my brain was starting to cook. So I walked around like 5 times. I believe I used this lens first, and I switched this. I have twin A5000s. So I have the M42 adapter, and I put it on one 5000, and I put this on another 5000. So I walked around with this hanging around my neck, and then I put this in my gadget bag, and then I walked around with this hanging around my neck. I didn't take the exact same pictures. They took very similar pictures. So how did they fare out? Well, first you're going to have to watch the Canon, right? A separate movie, and then you're going to watch the Fuji, a separate movie. Otherwise, it'd be too long. So I'm trying to keep it brevity. And then people who are Canon aficionados, well, let's watch the Canon and say, oh, screw Fuji. And people who are Fuji aficionados, well, let's watch the Fuji and skip the Canon. But people who are on the fence or don't know, they can watch both. Now, I paid over $400 for this like a year and a half or 2 years ago. And I paid slightly over $500 for this just recently. But I'll tell you something scary. I see these, the Fujinon, going for $1,000. Oh my God, $1,000. Well, both these lenses are fine performers. I mean, they take excellent pictures. Stop down the f8, they're beautiful. You know, of course, I was in bright sun, and I got some slight sun flares, but it wasn't objectionable. Although each one of these lenses has a critical angle, whereas the sun is exactly that angle, you get these big giant flares, which is you can either be artistic or annoying depending on your point of view. So this one's the f4, this one's 3.5, this is 19 millimeter, that's 17 millimeter. I like both of these lenses because they're rectilinear. They don't introduce their own distortion like pin, cushion, or barrel. It's strictly the distortion of perspective where lines meet at infinity. And if you pixel peep, they're both really nice lenses, center and off axis. But this is APS-C sensor, so you would expect that. So what's the bottom dollar? Bottom dollar is if you're a Canon guy, get the Canon, you ain't gonna go wrong. If you're a Fujinon guy, get the Fujinon, and you ain't gonna go wrong. It seems to me that the Canons are a little bit cheaper than the Fujinons. The Canons come in FD mount, and the Fujinon comes in the M42 screw mount. Now, you see this little, there's a little tab right here. See that little tab there? If you don't put this on a Fujinon body, if you try to screw this on a regular Pentax M42 screw mount, that little tab is going to hit the body, and then you won't be able to turn your aperture ring, and you won't get infinity focus. But if you use the photodiox adapter, the diameter of the adapter fits on the inside of this tab, and you can screw it all the way down, use your aperture ring, and get infinity focus. So you got to keep that in mind. Some people, they say just buzz it off, but you don't have to if you buy the right adapter. Like I said, I like both these lenses. I think they're action picture takers. They're still wide angle even on a crop sensor. You know, if you divide by 2 and then add it, they're still 28 millimeter or less, which is still a wide angle equivalent. So they both got that going for them. Of course, I try and get the best copies I can. This one has a little scuffed up enamel, but it seems to be perfect otherwise. I really like this lens. This one was a near excellent, new minus. I bought it. And so, gee, I think I got a bargain compared to what the prices are. But, I mean, if you don't have that sort of, want to make an investment in a bunch of lenses and do tests, either one of these will be good. And it's like I always say, if you're going to get one vintage lens, either one of these could be your one vintage lens that you could shoot. And you'll feel very pleased with both of these. Resolution-wise, color-wise, freedom of aberrations, when stopped down. They're slightly ever so soft, wide open, but it's not horrible. And if you stop down at this goes down to f22, this goes down to f22. So if you really, really, really need that depth of field, you can stop down. Of course, diffraction kicks in. Say this is a 19 millimeter, you stop down to f22, well, you're talking about a 1 millimeter aperture opening. That's like pinhole territory. Same thing with this thing. So this is going to how it's going to be. First, we're going to look at the Canon slideshow of the car show, and as a separate video, you can get to look at the Fujinon slideshow of the car show at North Haldon. It's a really nice show. It cost me $5 to get in. There had to be over 200 cars. Some I never seen before. I always like to go to a car show where I never seen a car. That's pretty cool. Or rare cars that, strange cars that you don't see much of. And then you can always gab to the guys. They like to talk about their cars and how they got them and all that good stuff. So car shows are pretty cool, and it's a pretty big thing in the state I live in the summertime. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, shall we? So I went to a car show in North Haldon at the high school, and I bought 2 cameras and 2 lenses. One was the Canon FD 17mm, and the other one was this one, the FUJINON M42 19mm f3.5. And they're both great lenses. They're nice lenses, really great lenses. One's a little bit more expensive. The Fujinon is an expensive piece of glass, and it's hard to come by. I've seen them go for $1,000, which I think is insane. But they're good, nice lenses. I'm going to use this lens as much as I can to shoot more photography with, because if you got a lens, you should use it. But all these cars had this brilliant chrome. Some of them were pit-free. Imagine a car 60, 70 years old and the chrome is pit-free on it, as opposed to modern cars that have nothing but plastic on them. And then the dashes all had knobs and dials, and rather than information centers. But the 19mm came out in a long time ago. 1960. It's an old lens. It's all metal construction. I think it has a rubber band for the focusing ring. Otherwise, it's all metal. I want to reiterate that it has a tab on the aperture ring. If you try and screw it on most cameras that are standard M42, this little tab is going to hang up. You won't be able to turn your aperture ring, and you won't be able to focus at infinity. But with modern mirrorless cameras and the right adapter, everything works. I use the Photodiox Pro M42, the Sony E mount, but they come in other combos too. So I recommend that definitely. Just to let you know, that's the way it works out. It has excellent contrast, I think, nice colors, a lack of distortion. Of course, you're going to get some distortion of perspective, but nothing, no obnoxious pin cushion or barrel distortion. Car shows are a pretty cool way to check out a lens, because there's a lot of detail in cars and different colors. And I think this lens performed admirably, just as good as the Canon. You know, I have a Tokina 17mm 3.5, and you could get those for half the price of these bad boys, and that was really good too. So, you know, you say, oh, this lens is 40, 50, 60 years old. As long as you get one that's a decent copy, doesn't look like it's beat up to hell, then, you know, go for it, especially if you can get it at a really good price. I'm a Canon guy. I always keep saying I'm a Canon guy. I like Canon glass. But then, you know, I've been experimenting with other brands. Fujinon, they were a main B player, wannabe A player. And they have a reputation, their lenses. I'm not going to buy a whole bunch of Fujinon lenses. I just bought this one. I think on crop sensors, the shorter focal lengths are better for snapshots. That's just my opinion. So mostly I have a Canon, Pentax, some Nikon, and a smattering of other brands. Pentax made a lot of great glass and are reasonably priced and readily available. So there's that. But this is about the Fujinon. And, you know, look at, you could see the stars, the sun stars as the diaphragm blades. It's only got 5 blades, so you're going to get the stars. But, you know, is there any obnoxious flare or blobs from internal reflections? No. It's really well-behaved lens. I didn't use a lens hood on this. I just slapped on the camera and went. And I was shot at almost exclusively at f8, and all I did was change the shutter speeds based on what the camera was telling me. Fine lens. Now here's a B picture. This is a pixel peeping. That's great. It's fantastic. Without a doubt, this is a fine piece of glass. But you know, a lot of people ain't gonna buy it because it's expensive. But if you could come by with cheap, there's always stories of people getting great lenses cheap somehow. Then you pick it up. You say, oh, 25 bucks, so you know, grab it. VW buses used to be everywhere, and now they're nowhere except in shows. I remember Reader's Digest, 1965. They were selling them for like $1,999 at VW Bugs. And one day, me and my brother were walking over a highway overpass, or look at this main highway, and every car on the highway was a VW Beetle. And now, oh, you really don't see them too much. I guess they weren't built to last, or people don't take care of them. The guy at work, he has a 2000 Honda Accord, and that's ready to become historic. I had one too, but it rusted out, and so that's what happens. They toss them. Though I have an '09 Corolla, that's still got a while to go, and a 2012 Yaris, and all my cars are working cars. And you take care of them the best you can, but a lot of these cars, the nice ones, they're always garage kept, and that's how come they're in such great shape. But the Fujinon 19 millimeter f3.5 M42, this is a really great lens, and it can hold its own against any other lens in this class. I highly could recommend this lens without reservation.